Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's AB and I'm back again with my fun and dramatic movie reviews, and I'd like to review the Nollywood movie The Man for the Job. This movie is quite interesting and exciting, and I will give it a 7 over 10. I would really recommend you see this movie. Spoilers alert. Just a little bits and bits. I'm not really going to tell you everything because I want you to watch it and see for yourself. So the movie started with Joseph's family. Joseph is married to Isuha and they have two lovely kids. But unfortunately, one of the kids is sickle, and you know how financially and emotionally draining to take care of a sickle cell patient. I mean, I have an idea. I have an idea because of my roommate when I was in school, so I know it's not easy. So Joseph is working with the Seeds Assurance Bank, while his wife had to quit her job and start the business from home, selling small trucks to be able to, take care of their sickle cell son. So Joseph was looking for extra means to make money because they wanted to relocate to Canada and all, and that requires a lot of money, especially moving with a family. So his friend at the bank, his friend and colleague introduced him to this app. It's like Bolt and Uber, but this one is City Rider. So Joseph had to register and he was accepted. On to the next one. Lai Babalola is a successful CEO to Nigeria Intel Tech. He has an eye for raw talent. He's always hunting for raw talent, and his CTO is Tega, who happens to be Joseph's friend. Don't worry, you get to hear the gist along the line. So Babalola brought in a new recruit by the name Zainab, but Babalola calls her Zainab because he's like, what's the difference? So he told Tega that Zainab will be working on some of the project, and Tega kicked against it because he already had a team and he didn't see any need why they would bring in a new recruit. But since the boss has spoken, I mean, he has the final say. Who are you to stay otherwise? Zainab started working, but she was having difficulties with the work. I mean, I don't think it was something she was quite used to. It was new, so she was finding it difficult. And then Babalola kept encouraging her, don't worry, you're going to get it and all. So she had to book a ride home, and the person that picked her up was Joseph, but he changed his name to Barnabas because his colleague told him that it wouldn't be nice if the bank finds out that he's doing something else when he's supposed to be working. So he picked Zaina up, and then she was working on a system and also on a call with one of her colleagues, complaining on how difficult it was to get it right. And Joseph was eavesdropping, and at the point I was like, okay, you're working on this, and she said, like, okay, do this and do that, you get to sort it out. So she did, and it worked. And she was like, wow, this is really good. Like, are you into tech? He was like, it's a long story. So the ride ended, and then the fare was 3-2. And Zaina was like, okay, can I call you in case I have other problems? And he was like, yeah, fine, you can. So she transferred 20k to him. If you zoom, you go happy now. So next day, she called Joseph and gave him a proposition to pay him 20,000 for 5 days because the project was going to take 5 days, and pay him 20,000 each day after helping her with the work. And of course, if it's you buy the work now, and free 20k every day. It's not easy. So they started working and all, and then on the last day, Zaina was called into the CEO's office, and Tega showed a picture of her with Joseph, and she was like, so he's my driver. And he said, no, he's not just a driver, he's into tech, I know him, and he's a dangerous man. Do you know how risky how you've put the company in a risk and all that and stuff like that? And she was like, no, I don't understand. Then he explained everything and tried scolding Zainab, but the CEO was like, don't worry, I'll handle it. Don't worry, I'll handle it and all. So that ended. Then Zainab went back. Joseph came to pick her up, and then she was like, why are you? Why did you say your name is Barnabas? Why you're Joseph? He was like, oh, it's a long story. Then Zainab was like, okay, I've gotten the code, but I need to work with my station at home. Like it's big, so it needs something big, not from the system. Barnabas agreed and followed her in. In the process of checking the code, he found out that this was the code he wrote a while ago and gave to Tega. So apparently, Tega stole his work and is making money from it. So he got so upset. Then Zena was like, oh, Babalola is so happy to hear about it. He even said I should transfer 500k to you. He was like, wow. Okay. She was like, okay, but it has to be from the e-wallet, my bank app. That's what they use. So she signed him in. She was like, okay, what's your name? he wasn't concentrating because he was already distracted from what he saw, his code. How betrayed he felt when he saw his friends stole his code and all. So she took his ID card, his bank ID card, and used his details and even the password. She was like, what password? He was like, use anything. So he wasn't really concentrating, so she opened the app and all. So she went to get a cup of tea, and by the time she got back, Joseph had left and wrote down the remaining whatever for her to do. And then he was trying to text Tega. I was like, how could you do this to me? And the person had an accident. He got home, another wahala. He didn't find his family. They never told him, oh, your son had another crisis. He got to the hospital. He was explaining to the wife, but she was upset. She wasn't listening. Then he was like, please, can you give me your phone? I would like to check. And only for her to drop the phone. And he checked and saw a picture of Zena. Apparently, Tega sent it to her. What would you think as a wife? Oh, he's cheating on me. Because she had complained severally about him coming home, and he said, oh, he was working. So she left the hospital. Joseph went home and explained everything to her. And then he got to work, and at work he was given a promotion which came with a car and a house. If this God want to bless you, he will bless you in your phone, plenty blessings. You won't even know where it's coming from. So he told his wife, and they were celebrating, and then they had a knock on the door. Meanwhile, on the TV, it showed that Nigeria Intel Tech had been hacked of over 300 million naira, and Zainab was nowhere to be found. So Joseph was already getting scared because he helped with the work. Then the police came and arrested him. Tega made a call and was telling them to make it seem like the problem didn't come from within the company and all. Then the CEO was also there. That's what I was like telling Joseph, what did I do to you? What did I ever do to you? See the hard work my Tegalicious Tega did, and then you spoiled everything and all. Joseph was like, oh, Tega, I didn't even tell him. Tega was like, oh, so I don't mind it. Then Tega got angry. Joseph got really, like, Joseph exploded. You need to see.
I don't know, sir.
Fuck you, you fucking bastard. I thought you were my friend. I fucking trusted you. That app that you have there, the reason why Silicon Valley wants to invest $10 million, the reason why these bastards wearing these fancy suits and think they can threaten me, that app exists only because of me, my hard work. And then this guy wants to give it to you for free. You're a fucking bastard.
Did you see that? If it's you, I know you will do worse. So Joseph felt really hurt at all. Then at the point, Tega and Joseph settled. Then Esoha, his wife, came in and they talked, and Esoha was like, okay, she'll be out of the country. Then Joseph was like, no, you can't use my bank app outside the country. So she'd stay here and she would like to withdraw. She's likely to withdraw the money via POS, because the company started POS transactions we would run into millions. So it's so hard to leave, the husband is in Cotton and he couldn't leave, so it's so hard to leave. Called Tega. Tega was like, he's been trying to call Babalola, but he's not picking. Then sent the address to Esoha. Esoha went to the man's house and saw him and then talked, and like, okay, I'm going to call the DPO to release your husband, but it didn't work because according to him they said it's on a Friday and they were all going home, so they had to release them. They have to release Joseph on a Monday. So Esoha was like, this girl thinks she's smart and all. My mom was like, no, this girl is very brilliant, she even built a car app from the scratch. She's very, very smart. So I was like, what do you mean? He was like, oh, I mean that how can I employ all these intelligent people trying to help them, and then they will just mess up. Then so I was like, no, this is suspicious. I mean, they stole over 300 million from you. If it's you, you go crazy. You go crazy. But see him praising the girl. If it's you, it's quite suspicious, right? So when the man left his office, he has an office in his house, she started going through his stuff and saw a picture of Babalola with Zena. Something fishy, right? Then she left and called Tega that, oh, Zena is Babalola's side chick, his girlfriend apparently. Tega was like, no, it's not possible. They didn't give that vibe. If it's you, you're a side chick working in your gas or company, will you be giving the vibe that people are dating? Obviously not. You need to play along. So I say she's going to prove that her husband is innocent. Then she got home dressed into something sexy. Let me show you. Iniedo is hot. Did you see that? She was looking super hot. So she went to Computer Village to meet her ex, and on her way, you know, this normal. Have you been to Computer Village before? How these Agberos will be dragging you, calling you Neka, Chinelu, Chinedu. So somebody tried that with her, and then she got really angry. I'm sure with the whole frustration and all, she fought the man, and people came to help her. And in the process, her ex came out. Her ex is Emeka, CEO, Top Tech International Limited, typical Igbo man. Those are ex, and he's really really hilarious. So she told him that she needed his help to clone a phone. Initially he refused, but you know, as per he still liked it so hard. He helped her, told her to get like a bit close to the person, and then everything would transfer from the person's phone into his phone, into her phone. So she was able to track Zainab at Eco Hotel where they were having this Max party. So she dressed up, went there, introduced herself to Zainab, struck a conversation and all, then started tapping, cloning her phone. But when it was like 65%, Zainab started getting a bit uncomfortable and then, you know, left. So Isoha started chasing her, and in the process they were doing this salsa dance, salsa dance, and then they passed through. They even had to turn Isoha and all. Then by the time she got to Zainab, she had already lost her at the pool, only for her to turn, and then Zainab just pushed her into the pool. It was like, it was a bit dramatic. You need to see this. It was super hot. You see that? This is how she fell. That was hot though. So by then they've already released Joseph. He was home, and he called Tega, and Tega was like, "Oh, this is suspicious. I thought Babalola said it won't be possible till Monday. Then I need to go back to the hospital. I need to go back to the office. This is something fishy." So he went back to the office. Then Isoha went back to Emeka. She was apologizing. "I'm sorry. She's like, this girl pushed me inside water. Oh, not be my fault." Then, you know, she started praising Emeka, and Emeka still has a soft spot for Isoha. So, you know, he fell into a trap after a while, you know. So he was able to hack what was cloned, and then saw messages between Babalola and Zainab about their meeting at the airport. So she rushed to the airport immediately with Emeka, and they actually saw Zainab. And then that was when the voice note started downloading, because it wasn't downloading initially due to network. And then she heard the conversation between Zainab and Babalola about meeting in the restroom. She didn't know which of the restroom to go to. She went to the men's restroom, and then she was kicked out by some guys like, "You know this, you see man for the war." You get. So then she went to the female one, and then Babalola had already paid the security man not to allow anybody in except Zainab. So she wasn't allowed in. Zainab got in, Babalola got into, they had a conversation, you know, everything got heated up, like everything was a bit exposed and all. And yeah, I forgot to mention, from the voice notes, we got to know who Zainab really was to Babalola. It was not what we were thinking, but don't worry, watch the movie and find out. It is much hotter. So Zainab needed to leave because Babalola had already helped her get a new passport and all. So he had to create a drama to give her room to leave. And then she left. On her way out, she met Joseph. And it was like Indian movie, slow motion. Check it out. So Babalola got back to his hotel room and brought out all the money. And they had a knock on the door but refused to open. Then next thing, we see Tega, Joseph, Isoha, and Emeka. Apparently, Emeka helped them hack the automatic door, you know, and all. And then that was where everything was exposed. And then next thing, Babalola was like, all this one people are talking is story. See the money. Who wants to share money? One of them were like, oh, now, if we were to be you, what would you do? I will not lie you. I will take my share, please. It's not every day you see that kind of money. After all, it's also part of your money, you know. And then they had a knock on the door. Now, I would really suggest you see this movie. It is quite interesting, and I will give it 7/10. So I'd like to get your comments after you see the movie and tell me what you think. And please, if you love this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe. Thank you. See you soon. God bless. Love ya.